The return of the rumbling roar of GT action Season 2 in the GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO with the race and Fanatec, returning to a venue we've raced at before with a brand new calendar featuring 6 of the most prestigious racetracks on the planet. The same format as last year, but with a brand new grid, fresh off of a tense and hard-fought qualifier to get into the series. Just 0.3 of a second separated relative safety at the top of the qualifier and being put into Split 2. 30 cars and 2 races ahead of us here in Highlands County, Florida, for the first of 4 rounds inside the United States this season. It is, of course, the Sebring International Raceway. As it was a few months ago in Season 1, taking you through the season, myself, Lewis McGlade, alongside me, Aidan Millward, it is good to be back.
It's definitely good to be back. GT3's at one of the best tracks in the world. Can't wait to get going, especially with the level of talent that we've got across the whole series.
Yeah, we've got, as I say, 2 races to go. A sprint race, as it was, 15 minutes in that, then 45 minutes in that feature race coming up, 6 rounds. You can see we start here in Sebring. We stay in the United States at Portland and VIR, head over to Europe and Nürburgring, return to the United States for Indianapolis, and then that final round, yet to be announced, the circuit on the 28th of December, ready to see out the 2020 year. Here's how it works when it comes to the promotion, the same as it was last year. The road to GT Pro in Season 3, the top 5 of this series, once the championship is done, get promoted to GT Pro straight away. Then we've got that relegation race between the drivers from 6th to 10th. They go up against some drivers from GT Pro, and then we get relegation from this series as well down to Split 2. But of course, you can move up between Split 1 and Split 2 as the season goes on. So that, every 2 rounds in the season, the top 5 in Split 2 move up into Split 1. The bottom 5 in Split 1 move down. So we're going to see some new drivers come in and out of the series as it progresses, as it was last year, Aidan. It was a great feature that allowed us to see new drivers and see the real top-level talent trying to get their way into GT Pro. Yeah,
I think it was last season at Imola we saw it was Mike Epps who came straight up from Division 2 and then straight away challenged the later winner of that series, Michi Hoyer, at Imola, and actually beat him. So some people just come straight in. Okay, you come in through hot lapping. Some people aren't very good hot lappers. I know I'm not a very good hot lapper, but I can sort of make it back up in the race, and that's exactly what Mike Epps did on that occasion. So with the reverse grid as well, it really does throw in some curveballs, as it were, and we can end up seeing people that we wouldn't normally see at the back and having to fight for the relegation.
Yeah, we've got some big teams here this season. We're looking at Mikkel Smedel, Varga Sim Racing, fresh off of doing very, very well in the BMW Sim M2CS Racing Cup, one of the strongest drivers on that grid. How will he fare outside of a very specific car, how to drive that? And obviously Nordschleifer, being a Nordschleifer specialist, comes into this. How's he going to fare here? It is a private qualifying session, so everyone gets the track to themselves. There's no slipstream, there's no dirty air, there's no distraction. It's you, the track, the car, and how fast can you do it. Look at the bumps coming through Sunset Corner. It's very cloudy out there today, Aidan.
Yeah, it's I think that's weather you'd normally associate with the UK rather than Florida, isn't it? But as we're nearing winter, some of the weird weather is going to set in. We don't think we're going to be having rain tonight, so unless I start singing, in which case we might get some rain. But yeah, it's going to be a dry race. Two very good races with very good close racing, I hope.
Well, if you start singing, doesn't that mean the event's over?
Yeah, we're going to get copyright claim, don't we?
I see. Well, no, I was more saying it ain't over till, it's fine. Across the line, Jesper Eriksson, AAA Esports, recent signing for this outfit. I believe before this, I sent it a couple of days ago when I was talking of Jesper Eriksson, an incredible talent. Previously signed, if I recall correctly, for Virtual Drivers by TX3. And in fact, he is actually on our list for it. Recently joined AAA, and we know how strong that outfit is. Speaking of strong outfits, we've got Team Redline in GT Challenge. Jeffrey Rietveld, a driver that I've not seen in sim racing for a few years, was right at the top of his game in the early 2010s, towards 2012, 2013, was an incredibly strong driver. Sort of went off the radar a little bit from that. Is back into sim racing at the top level in rFactor 2. Qualified 2nd place at the moment, a 10th off of Mikkel Smedel. 2 Varga sim racing drivers in 1st and 3rd. It's looking pretty strong for them at the front of the field. but this man could definitely be one to watch across the season.
Yeah, as Dark Horses go, he's definitely one of them. We've also got some other big names from the world of sim racing wants to look out. We've also got Kasper Stolzer, very, very, very quick, especially when he's holding a mobile phone in his hand while driving around a go-kart track. Alan Terzic, also blindingly quick. And we've got also Rory McDuff, who recently finished first in class in a multi-class GT3, GT4 race at Silverstone last weekend. Jordi Zviers, also incredibly quick, and Matt Richards up in 8th position. He's going to be one to look out for as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight field. We watch Yuri Toman come through the final corner of Sunset. Lovely done. Held it nice and tight to the inside. Runs it out. You can run over that white line on your timed lap. I believe it's the same, but you're not allowed to do it on your out lap to get a run. But that is a good time, a 56.935, a 10th clear of teammate Mikhail Smeedl up there. We look at Ibrahim Khan, a recent sign-up for Zansho in the GT Challenge Series. They've got a few drivers on this field. It's not quite the Zansho Cup though, so don't panic. It is the Callaway Cup though, so we'll get that one out of the way. We've got a few Callaways on the grid, Ibrahim Khan being one of them, on a time that should improve him well inside. I mean, he could move into the top 5 on this time if he gets the final sector right, but that's not really an ideal line. A little bit too wide, holds it tight, doesn't hit the bumps too hard. This could actually be a good time for Ibrahim Khan. I don't think he'll quite move ahead of Luca D'Amelio, but he could become the second highest Zansho. He does. He moves into the top 5. Great time for Khan, just behind Luca D'Amelio.
Yeah, that final corner, Sunset Bend, we're going to be talking about it a lot. It's going to be where a lot of drivers are going to try and make a move, usually around the outside, but there is huge bumps on that corner. It's just making my feelings fall out just thinking about it, and you'll see it from the TV cam, maybe if we keep on maybe Alan Terzic for the rest of his lap. But yeah, there's that rule that you can't use the track extension on your out lap. That rule's the same for everybody. We can't have any exceptions. So it's quite a famous rule. There's Paulie Ahonen coming across the line. See what he's about to do. Yep, you can see the bumps on that camera as well. He's just gone into 18th. This track was the first laser scan track released by Studio 397, and I still maintain it's one of the best tracks in sim racing.
Well, we've got Vlad Tokarev on screen, lone Aston Martin in split 1 of GT Challenge. We've got a lot of Corvettes. I was sent the numbers to how many Corvettes we've got. I think it is 20 Callaways in split 1, and the rest of them are split between Aston Martins. We've got 6 Ferraris, a few Porsches as well. So there's a decent split outside of it, but the lone Aston Martin, we've got to give him a bit of a big shout out here for Vlad Tokarev. It wasn't a great run through the final corner. He's not really going to improve on that time. Bit of a shout out to Paulie Ahonen in that Galloway though, because he was only a 10th off in sector 1. There's more time in it. He lost most of his time in the first sector. This is looking like a pretty good drive at the moment from Nike Jacobs. Do what he does through the final corner. It's looking like he could be pretty close. Definitely a top 10 contending time here. Let's see what he does across the line. Moves to 11th, gets in among the, or ahead of, rather, the Jean Lacey Esports Academy driver, Stolzer, Zviers and Terzic, all down 13th, 14th, 15th. Not what we would have expected them, but they are all in a Ferrari for this event.
Yeah, the recently released Ferrari GT3. I mean, it's John Lacey who owns that team. He's a massive Ferrari guy, so you can... That probably explains why they're in the Ferraris, but still they've got a cracking looking livery on those cars. But the real story is that most of this field is Corvettes, and it's Corvettes that are just filling the top 10 right now.
But will that stand throughout the season? We saw it last year, where as we watch Roman Jakubovic come towards the line and see what time he could do. This is looking pretty good on the sector splits. 20th place only. Wasn't so great when it came to finishing the lap. Remember, last year here at this circuit, it was a double win for Michi Hoyer in the Audi, the almost unfavoured Audi. It wasn't a bad car. He still won the championship, though, in that Audi, despite last year effectively being the McLaren Cup. So yeah, whether we're going to see, just because of that does not mean that we're nailed on for a Callaway victory at the end of the season. Other teams, other cars can absolutely get into it, because as much as they're fast over a lap, it's how it plays into the race and how the drivers take to that racing action that really will set things apart. Speaking of setting things apart, look at this time coming in from Yuri Toman. Great first sector, great second sector, improving on a time to move him even further clear of his teammate at the head of the field.
Yeah, he's 200ths of a second up in Sector 1, just over 200ths up in Sector 2. Comes through Sunset Bend. There's that huge bump on the inside that can unsettle the car if you've not got the suspension settings right. Runs it all the way out towards the wall and up over the start-finish line to... He's not gone quicker. He's lost nearly a tenth in that final sector alone.
Hemmingson moved up to 5th place, and Alan Terzic moved up to 9th, so decent improvements from them. Another one coming in from Luca D'Amelio, trying to slam himself on the front row of the grid. I think it might just be a little bit too much of a tall order. Final lap of the session, realistically, for him. He won't be able to get round to do another one. He can do another one after this lap, but I think his tyres won't really be there to do so. Let's see what he does. The Sancho Simsport driver to the line, goes on to the front row of the grid. A fantastic final sector. The second driver of the grid into the 56s, a 56.994. What a lap from Luca D'Amelio. We're on board with one of his teammates, Ibrahim Khan, who looks to be going even faster. It's only slight, it is only marginal, but if he nails the final sector the way that Luca D'Amelio did, he's going to depose his teammate from the front row and move to the head Sancho Simsport driver. See what he does to the line. Only 5th. Still a great lap, but just lost out in that final sector.
Yeah, Luca D'Amelio can be super, super proud of that lap. That was absolutely blistering, considering he was a tenth slower than Toman through sectors 1 and 2, but pulled something out in the final sector to be just 500ths of a second slower when he crossed the line, or just under 600th of a second slower as he crossed the line. Now watching Paulie Ahonen in the Volante racing car, another Corvette. Just because you're in the Corvette doesn't mean that you're going to be near the front. You still need to put a decent driver in to get the laps together.
Yeah,
not saying that Paulie Ahonen's a bad driver, but
just ripping into people already. Come on, we're on round 1. We've got plenty. We're in the early stages of round 1 as well. We've got plenty of time to rip into everyone. Don't worry. Not a great exit from Le Mans though from Paulie Ahonen. I don't think it's going to be an improvement. Turka Hakkinen to 14th place. Maybe not always starting a lap is Turka Hakkinen for Nita Velix. We'll keep an eye as to how that one progresses. 14th at the moment. He's gone off at T1, so straight away Turka Hakkinen's day is done in qualifying, as is Rory McDuff. So for Nita Velix, despite moving, here's your first shot. Despite moving from McLaren, maybe the unfavoured McLaren, they got a little bit, let's say, scared, and they moved to the Callaway, same as everyone else, wanted to be in that car, that favoured car when it comes to the BOP, whether that'll work out towards the season. They're only 14th and 22nd, so that move has not worked for them at all. David Serra to the line, no, not going to happen. Messed up that final corner. On board with Matt Richards down in 12th place. That's not going to work. Terrible final first sector as well, so he's going to try practice pit lane entry maybe. Nope.
might as well finish.
might as well just finish the lap anyway. Well, why not? Is that the set? That is the session done then. So first pole position of the season, going the way of Jiri Toman, Luca D'Amelio, and Mikael Smedel. Of course, remember, everyone watching this, there are plenty. This is how it's all going to work, by the way, when it comes to, there's the start-finish line that everyone's going to start on. You've got the overtaking opportunities on your screen as well. Remember that there are plenty of splits in this. I think it's up to 6 splits. We've got drivers across those splits, the likes of Cameron Roger, who takes part and runs everything over an FSR, an official series for rFactor 2. You've got drivers like Jensen Button on the grid as well. It is incredible.
Everyone, remember the start procedure. You are on formation lap. You should run that under pit limiter. And when the leader comes out of turn 17, he controls the pace until the start finish line. So he can go whenever he wants to between turn 17 and start finish line. Good luck.
Final instructions there coming from race director Jimmy Allison, telling the drivers as to remind them as to where they have to go. You know, like it's a manual rolling start. So out of turn 17, that is the final corner of Sunset. Here's your order: Jiri Toman, Luca D'Amelio, Mikael Smedel, and Jeffrey Rietveld round out the top 4 of the grid. Ibrahim Khan, great qualifying session from him, as it was from Martin Hemmingson for PinSim Drillers Esports. Great qualifying session for both their drivers, Timotej Andonovski in 8th place, Louis-Philippe Capamajan in 7th. Then we've got the first John Lacey Esports drivers, Jordi Sveers and Alan Terzic, DX Droids, David Serra and Matt Richards on the 6th row of the grid for Sancho Sims. A bit of work to get among the other Sancho teammates further up the order. Nike Jacobs for Scuderia Leone and Turka Hakkinen in 14th place. Casper Stolzer and Matthew Williams.
The first lap is orange zone, meaning double the penalties. So don't think you can win the race into turn 1, please.
Final reminder as to what to happen from Jimmy Ellison, Ilias Fernandez, Paulia Honan. Then we've got Donat Prodon and Jesper Eriksson as well, all in that. It's all getting a bit mixed up here. Roman Jakobovic and Rory McDuff, Andrea Terzi. Daniel, Andrea Terzi, keep an eye on him because his physics are actually very, very good. He knows what he's doing when it comes to a car. Chris Shepard, Mohamed Patel, Mark Cruz, Vlad Tokarev, Paul August Lana, down in 28th, not where he would have expected to be because we know there's some more pace from him for Volante Racing. Got a couple of drivers pretty strong in the field. That is your 28-car field. Got some teams that have joined the championship. There's Varga, great qualifying session from them. The pole position and third place on the grid for Varga Sim Racing. Yuri Toman and Mikkel Smedel, great looking car as well, both taking the Callaway. Should be a very strong team when it comes to how they are. It's just which one do you favour when it comes to the team to the drivers' championship?
Yeah, it's a good question, isn't it? It's I think all bets are off currently, but then once we know how the championship's going to play out towards the end of the season, then we might start seeing some team orders because there is no real teams championship in this. It's
so remember,
the drivers.
Catch up. If you are falling behind, you need to be close to each other, and you should do double file. So catch up if you are falling behind, please.
Lots of instructions here coming from Jimmy Allison cutting across our build-up procedure. It is a 15-minute race, but considering the speed they go around here, it ends up realistically being closer to sort of like a 12 or a 13. Well, not 12. It's not quite that long. It'll be close to sort of like a 13, 14-minute race, which affects fuel, doesn't it? We saw this at Le Mans last season when at the second start they effectively started the race slightly earlier than expected. It ended up being like a 60-minute race, and it meant that they ended up going a lap further than expected. And we saw, at least in GT Pro, a lot of drivers ran out of fuel.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimated how long the lap actually was and probably didn't get their maths right. It was, I wouldn't say it was entertaining to watch, but it definitely threw the results open a bit.
Oh, it's entertaining for us. We don't have to deal with that.
Yeah,
we don't have to deal with the fallout of any of that.
Well, not this time.
It's much nicer sat at the side. What are you saying by this time? what do you mean by that?
You ran out of fuel once, didn't you?
Oh, there we go. Take that one
tick.
off straight. Yeah. Okay. Is this commentary bingo already starting?
Yeah.
Terrible. Well, the run to sunset, the tension is rising. You can see there are an awful lot of Callaways, the odd Porsche, the odd Ferrari in there as well, and an Aston Martin included among the lot. A front row of the grid with Yuri Toman, Luke D'Amelio. Let's see what they can do. It's going to be a hard-fought battle across not only the race, not only the round, but of course the season as well. Our run to see which 5 drivers are going to be moved into GT Pro for Season 3 and which driver will become the second GT Challenge champion. We're about ready to get underway here. The first round of the GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO's second season. Luke D'Amelio with a good run ahead. Oh, they just realigned there. I thought D'Amelio was almost going to go for a jump start there. It is now in the hands of Yuri Toman as to when he wants to set off. We're about ready to go, and we are underway. It is a great launch from Yuri Toman. It's opened the door for Mikkel Smedel. Definite communication between the two of them that's allowed Smedel to make it a Varga Sim Racing 1-2. Jeffrey Rietfeld under a lot of pressure from Martin Hemmingsen behind. Oh, we ride on board with Timotej Andonovski, who's been off the road, as has another driver, another Pinsim Drillers Esports driver down the back end of the field. It is still going to be Yuri Toman leading. Ooh. Oh, there's Sancho off. That would be Ibrahim Karnov massively down the order. Oh, that's Luis Philippe Capamajan as well with him. That is terrible drama to kick off the first race of the season.
Yeah, I think we'll need to get a replay of that because that was a lot going on just in that first sector alone as they come through Big Ben towards the hairpin, which is a fantastic overtaking zone. You might want to try and keep it on the smoother bit of tarmac heading in because it's so bumpy. Just hug the apex like your favourite granny and then power out the other side as we now cut away to watch Nike Jacobs and Timothy Andonovski heading up towards Fangio and over the back end of the track here.
Yeah, intense racing. See if Andonovski fancies it down the inside, and the Scuderia only driver. He does. He's squirming on the brakes, pulls it up to the apex. Good stuff. Jacobs around the outside. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Jacobs going to hold firm on the inside. The Pinsim Drillers Esports driver not able to take advantage of that after the first lap mistake down at T1. He dropped down the order in 11th place. He definitely wants better than that, but now he's feeling the pressure from Kasper Stolzer behind.
I think the biggest gainer out of this has been Matt Richards. He's gone from 12th to 8th. and he's starting to chase down Jordi's Veers for 7th place. So you can see the winners and losers out of the first lap here is that's getting the elbows out through the chicane there.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times. Anytime we come racing here, we see that kind of action. We're on board with Kasper Stolz looking towards Nick Jacobs. He's got a bit of slipstream as well. Don't think he's going to be quite close enough into Sunset. You're absolutely right with Matt Richards, but Alan Terzic in 6th place. Keep an eye on him. My goodness me, he was aggressive down the inside of Martin Hemmingsen. He did not think that he was going to be particularly strong this evening. He was saying that the car was feeling pretty slow. He's gone up 4 positions as we see side by side. I don't think that's going to work out for Kasper Stolzer in the Ferrari. Near contact between him and the Callaway. We run on board with Paul Honan moving his way up the order, 13th position in the number 5 car. Hemmingsen, by the way, is trying to go around the outside of Jeffrey Rietveldt. He's off the road in P5 rather. And Alan Terzic now to the outside at turn 3. Oh, it's going to be aggressive around the outside, giving room to the inside. That could be a fantastic move for Alan Terzic. Martin Hemmingsen, though, absolutely throws it in just before Big Ben. Near contact between the two of them, but they were both clean off there. Around Big Ben you go. Into the hairpin. Alan Terzic with the inside into the top 5 in a Ferrari.
Yeah, Alan Terzic was on this sort of mission last night in the FSR IndyCar Pro Series, and he ended up stacking it a couple of times, so hopefully he's not going to do that again tonight with the brilliant moves he's pulling off already in this series.
Yeah, that's a great move there from Alan Terzic. It is now complete. Martin Hemmingsen right on the back of him is going to try and open the door as well for his teammate Jordi Veers directly behind the young Dutchman. Oh, he's going to get contact from Matt Richards. Is Jordi Veers. This is just what we're on board with now. Jordi Veers just a touch from Matt Richards behind. It wasn't too bad, just overdid T10 a little bit himself. No door opened quite as yet for Martin Hemmingsen, but Matt Richards behind is thinking, oh God, could you get on with it please, because there's a door opening and I'd like to take it.
And Matt Richards, a quite accomplished touring car driver. I think he's got that mentality going on at the minute, a little bit of bumping and grinding around this track. I mean, these GT3s are pretty big and pretty hefty, even with the downforce they've got, but as they come through the chicane up towards Le Mans Bend, that's not Le Mans Bend, is it?
That is Le Mans.
Oh, that's Le Mans Bend. Good. Right. We'll just ignore that. As we've got
Le Mans Curve.
Le Mans Curve as they come down the straight towards Sunset Bend. Although we can't actually see the sunset tonight because it's a bit cloudy.
It is quite cloudy. We look further down the order as we see a bit of defence there heading into Sunset, holding it tight to the inside. I think this is Paul Honan. He's got one of the teammates of his behind. In an alternate car, though. That's kind of what spices some of this stuff up. That's Dennis Donat Prodon directly behind in a Ferrari, but still teammates to him. Ahead of that, we've got Kasper Stolzer and Nick Jacobs. Side by side, Kasper Stolzer, though, with the advantage into turn 1. Should be pretty easily done. Oh, near contact between the two. Running it through, Paul Honan. Just trying to defend from his teammate. Out of nowhere comes Jesper Eriksson trying to make a move, though. The new AAA Esports driver, fancying his way to move up towards the top 10.
Here we go. This is a replay. So it looks like we're going to have a Ruben Correa Alves special, as we see. Oof. It's just a bit of a bomb to. Oof. Oh, okay.
That's fully on Felipe Capamajan there. Unfortunately, that's a shame for his return to sim racing. Ex-teammates with Nico Barkley, the Peruvian, back in the day, just misjudged it down into T3, hit the back of Ibrahim Khan, and sent them packing down the escape road, where many a driver have been.
Yes, me included.
Oh, that's a brilliant move from Hemmingsen, inspired down the inside of Tower Corner. Oh, he's trying to cut in, though. Jordi Veers is absolutely there, my friend. And unfortunately, that advantage not really going to work your way. He's still going to have the inside into the next section of road, trying to cover it off with Jordi Veers.
That's
There's
a
going
huge
to be contact
move.
here. It's going to push him straight off the road. No, not quite. Good racing for them. Is it going to be the cutback? No, there's further contact. Oh, you can't do that. And Jordi Veers going to drop down to 8th place because Matt Richards has now got the run. Timotev Antonovsky's got the run. They're all going to come through. It's 3 wide on the back stretch. My goodness me. Jordi Veers clear. Matt Richards paying the price for mistakes of others, down to potentially 10th place as David Serra's trying to go around the outside. There's no grip out there, but there's plenty of bumps. And I think he might make this one work.
Yeah, Sunset Corner is one of those corners where if you get the right line, I mean, there's about 3 million lines you can take through there, and all of them are wrong. But if you can get on the outside and get the power down early enough and have enough grip, then you can actually make a move stick. As this is a replay of, was that a replay?
No, we're moving side by side, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
I got panicked by that last season a couple of times. Like, oh no, that's fine.
The old side by side view. Glorious.
Yeah, well, we've got battle for the race lead on the right-hand side of your screen. Mikhail Smeedl on the back of Yuri Toman, looking for first honours of the season. The two Vargas Sim Racing drivers running away at the top of the field. 2 seconds clear of Luca D'Amelio on the left-hand side. We focus on Matt Richards in that battle with David Serra. They're just about to pass some lapped traffic. I believe that was Chris Shepherd going a second lap down. Things have not worked out for him. Ibrahim Khan, by the way, has just retired from the race and becomes the first retirement in Season 2 of the GT Challenge Series powered by VCO. Unfortunately, he is powered only to a retirement here today. Not sure what happened there, but obviously picking up some damage on that first lap of the race. Jordis Veers, his teammates run away in 5th place, is now 3 seconds down the road, Alan Terzic. Fantastic drive from him. Hemmingson, though, after having got through on Jordis Veers, is not able to pull away.
Yeah, it's getting very tight, just the sort of the back end of the top 10. So Jordis Veers trying to follow as close as he possibly can in that Ferrari. I haven't really seen how bad the dirty air is coming off the back of these GT3 cars just yet. But as they come through Le Mans curve towards sunset, you've got to try not to go too far wide there, because if you spit up some of that dust, you can sort of lose a bit of traction and ultimately lose straight line speed by the time you get to the end of the straight.
Yeah, it can be pretty tricky. Certainly around here. Oh, that was nearly a dive to the inside. He definitely wasn't close enough. I think he's just trying to put off Martin Hemmingson, and it's worked. Yuri Toman is in the pit lane, by the way. Yuri Toman to the pit lane. Not quite sure. I think he's underfueled the car. Jordis Veers has got through on Hemmingson, and Danovsky now fancies a bit of this. So Mikhail Smeedl takes the lead of the race, comfortably so, from Yuri Toman, who's now into the pit lane for an unknown reason. I think it was just a drive-through penalty, courtesy of maybe track excursions. It's quite easy to do around here, but the racing still continues very, very hard. Jordis Veers now moves inside the top 10. Matt Richards now putting pressure on Antonovsky.
You just see that from the back. You see the back of from Yuri Toman's rear camera. You just saw a car parked off at turn 1. There we go. It's Paulie Ahonen having to wait right to the end of the queue to get back onto the track so he can rejoin safely. That's not gonna. Well, that's not optimal.
It certainly isn't. That's a nice way of putting it. That's not optimal.
Well, I've just looked at Yuri Toman's lap times, and he only had the 1 cut, so I don't know how that's happened.
I find it unlikely that he's underfueled. He may have left quali fuel in, but he didn't stop, did he, coming through the pit lane?
No, he just drove straight through.
It must have been a drive-through penalty. You can still cut like more than once on a lap, so maybe he's just picked it up somewhere. Not 100% sure. It's not been applied through the game, but either way, he has been moved down to 17th place. So from a drive-through penalty, he's already putting pressure under Louis-Philippe Capamajane. Let's have a look on the replay and see what we have here. This is what happened to Paulie Ahonen down the inside. Matthew Williams there. Contact between the two. Not a very good angle to see what actually happened there. That was contact there.
That was very close.
It was very, very close. One of the Jean Lacey Esports drivers coming through there. Very, very tight indeed. Look at the snake out of Le Mans corner onto the back straight away. We've got Jordis Veers leading Timotev. Antonovsky, David Serra is a fair way off of this, and Antonovsky is fancying himself a top 5 position here. Things are falling the way of some of these drivers. Hemmingson and Richards were switching positions just behind this. It's not quite worked out for Richards this time. He's still in 9th place, and no progress for him as of yet to try and get himself inside the top 8 once again. He certainly is.
You have to take the long way around.
Not really the ideal line at turn 1. He's very committed to it, though.
It can
Heavy
be done,
on the brakes. It can be done. I don't think it's going to be done on this occasion, though. Hemmingson's going to hold the advantage on the inside and defend it easily down into T3. Oh, nearly chops up in front of the Welshman. Back to replay. Let's have a look. This is on board with Matthew Williams.
Oh, a few more to go for gap.
Nah, I don't think that's on Williams. I think that it's kind of he was. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say that's a racing incident,
that's controversial. That's Jimmy's job.
That's exactly. That is way above my pay grade. As Casper Stoltz's throwing it down the inside of Matt Richards. Oh, powering off the corner. Richards going to hold firm. Nice work. Williams, by the way, in 13th has overtaken Vlad Tokarev. But Vlad Tokarev, let's give a round of applause. 13th place in an Aston Martin. What a stunner of a drive so far. Oof. Williams is now under pressure. Whoa, that was Casper Stolzer going straight on, was it? It certainly was.
I think he just misjudged the braking point and it just wouldn't pull up. Similar to what we were seeing at VIR last night, with guys going into Oak Tree with just nothing happening in his Matthew Williams car.
Yeah,
probably the most colourful on the grid.
Certainly. So, as I say, look at that. Aston Martin up in 13th place. God, doing me proud. Yellow flag out in sector 1. What's that for? I think it was to do with Paul August Lana, who's down in 25th place. Things really not working out for him. I think there's some big damage on some of these cars out here in the first race of the season. 2 minutes left on the clock, so they'll be beginning their final laps. Mikael Smedel, the victory lap, 2.7 seconds clear of Luca De Melio at the moment. We ride on board with Matthew Williams on the back of Mohammed Patel. I mean, that is quite a driver to be behind. Patel, obviously well known in sim racing for his speed, for his craft, a multiple FSR World Championship winner and a world champion himself in that series. Not so much a GT driver or even touring car or anything else. It very much specifies towards open wheelers, but is sort of he can get the job done in most cars he gets into. Bit of damage on the front end of his 488 though, so I mean, I don't think this race has gone particularly well for him. 14th though, I think things are going okay, at least for now.
Yeah, here's a replay of Casper Stoltz coming up towards, I think it's Tower? Oof.
D10. Oh, okay. Cunningham.
Yeah, Cunningham. That's doing a bit of just outsourcing work for Valtteri Bottas. He's having to mow the grass there.
He certainly did. Ran it out very, very far. That's how you really overcook it. Antonovsky under pressure from David Serra, moving his way up the order. It's relieved a little bit of pressure from Jordi Spears in 5th place. Oh, he's overdone it. Oh, he did not mean to commit to that to the inside. Still pulls it to the apex. There's just brushing between the two of them all the way around the outside towards Tower Corner. It is going to work for David Serra. That was almost accidental, up to 6th place. Great stuff. That's sort of like 2015 Scott McLaughlin against Mark Winterbottom vibes. That is. Just did not mean to send it down there.
Just claim you meant that.
Exactly. It was all part of the plan.
As the time is going to expire just as Mikael Smedel comes into Sunset Bend. So brilliant timing.
Yeah, fantastic drive for him. The first race of the second season in the GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO. Mikael Smedel comes out of the final corner in a dominant drive for Varga Sim Racing. It's a victory for him. Victory number 1 of the season goes to Smedel. Luca De Melio and Jeffrey Rietveld join him on the podium. A great drive from Alan Terzic up to 4th place and applying pressure to Jeffrey Rietveld. Jordi Spears rounds out that top 5. Great drive from Smedel at the head of the field.
Yeah, Mohammed Patel managed to steal a position there at the end as Tokarev brings it home in 15th behind Matthew Williams here.
Yeah, that's to be fair, I mean, for that Aston Martin to have got up to 15th, that's nice work. Jiri Toman, Turkka Häkkinen behind that. Jiri Toman down in 16th place. We'll see him march his way up the order in the feature race coming up 45 minutes. And that Rory McDuff victorious here in the Virtual Endurance Championship. Not so much here today, unfortunately. Way down the order, a bit of a disappointing drive. Mohammed Patel to the inside then. This is on the replay, what happened at the final corner and how he snagged that position off of Vlad Tokarev, and you see it open the door as well for Matthew Williams to fire it through as well. Still a decent drive up the order from Vlad Tokarev, must be said. Nice work for him in that Aston Martin, and showing that you don't necessarily have to be in a Callaway.
Well, no, we've got Alan Terzic and Jordi Spears Ferraris 4th and 5th here. So I mean, Luca De Melio managed to finish where he started, but Smedel takes first blood here tonight. But that's all going to be reversed.
Exactly. We'll find out what the reverse grid number is because I can't remember it off the top of my head. Is it 6 to 12? Something like that?
1st to 10th is reversed.
1st to 10th. There we go.
Yeah. This isn't the BTCC now.
It's a straight split. I mean, I should already know. That's fine. David Serra there in 6th place. Timotej Antonovsky and Martin Hemmingson. Matt Richards and Knight Jacobs round out that top 10. Good drives in there. Donat Prodon starts from 11th place, and then Casper Stoltz and Mohammed Patel. Matthew Williams, we saw those all battling out on that final lap. Vlad Tokarev in 15th. Jiri Toman in 16th. We'll keep our eye on him because he will be coming up the order very, very quickly. Turkka Häkkinen, Mark Cruz, Roman Jakubovic, and Jesper Eriksson in 20th. Not the drive we would have expected from him for AAA Esports, a little bit further down the order than they would have wanted. Behind that, Paulia Honan, after a few issues today, is in 21st place. 22nd, Rory McDuff. Again, not really a great drive. 40 seconds off of the race lead. Under pressure at the end of the race from Ilias Fernandez. Paul August Lana in 24th. A late retirement. It was a disconnection for RPM Esports' Louis-Philippe Capamajan. So that's why. Oh, that's why they're switched. That's fine. Andrea Terzi, Chris Shepherd, and Ibrahim Khan round out the order, but they were all, most of those were retirements, unfortunately. Not an ideal start to the season for some, but it was for one. Mikael Smedel victorious in the first race. Is he going to do it again? Are we going to see it the same as we did last season, where we saw this was the only track where we saw a double winner?
Yeah, it's just going to be a wait and see thing. I mean, but that was brilliant racing for 15 minutes. At 45 minutes of racing coming up, with the top 10 reversed. So we're going to see like the real cream of the crop sort of make their way forward.
And it's a 45-minute race as well, so much longer, much harder for them to they've got to look after their tyres. It's a difficult circuit for them to look after those tyres on. It's who controls that side of things better than others. I would have to say, as much as I know that he hates it, he really doesn't like tyre saving or anything like that. He just wants to push. Alan Terzic, towards the end of the race, putting pressure on Jeffrey Rietveld. He's going to be starting this race from 7th place after finishing 4th. Could expect him to move up through the order. We know he's quite aggressive. He moved up the order in that race. He's feeling pretty good, at least as far as it seems. I wouldn't rule him out of a potential victory here at Sebring.
No, he's definitely going to be the favourite. He's just got to keep it on the track, as we mentioned earlier with the IndyCar stuff last night, where he was throwing it into gaps that barely existed, just getting through. But ultimately, he caught himself out by he went a bit too deep into Oak Tree. So if he can keep it on the track, then yes, he could very well win this race.
Absolutely. It's easier said than done, that,
yes.
Especially with how hard racing is around here. The bumps do bite. But hopefully it won't. Well, I mean, hopefully it won't rain. I say that. I've got my rain dance on. Let's take a look at Jean Lacey Esports Academy joining us with a few drivers. Alan Terzic and Jordi Sveers, we said about them. You've got Matteo Caruso, Casper Stolzer. Matteo Caruso is he in GT? He's in GT Pro, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, Mohamed Patel as well. An incredible lineup of drivers. It's Martin Derlin. He's a John Lacey.
Yeah, there was quite a few from Singularity that went over there at the end of the last VEC season. There they are, all formation flying there.
Yeah, livery done by Jordi himself. He loves doing the liveries. He always used to do them for Singularity. Of course, there was a bit of a split there because Nita Velix, I'm sure like everyone watching this, or some of them anyway, know the story that Nita Velix were Singularity. There was a split there. Jean Lacey happened. They all went off that way. And then Nita Velix lost the branding of Singularity, or dropped the branding of Singularity, and became Nita Velix again. It's an old team. That's Dennis Lynn's team, who used to take part in GT Pro last season. Here's the calendar. Race 1 of the season done here at Sebring. Of course, we're back in a couple of weeks' time at Portland. But remember, in between each round, we have the next round of GT Pro. So, we've got some spicy action coming up at Portland next week. We'll see who can win that one. Fantastic first round. It's going to be a fantastic second race here in GT Challenge.
I hope so. It's going to, that one was exciting. Hopefully, this one will be exciting too. I think so. We've got the top 10 reversed. So we've got Matt Richards on the front row for Zantro Simsport tonight. I'm
sure our cameraman will be focused on the man who's starting from reverse grid pole, his own team, Nick Jacobs. There we go. We'll take a look at the order. Scuderia Leone starting from pole position here in the second race of the season. Matt Richards for Zancho in second place. Martin Hemmingson and Andonovsky third and fourth on that second row of the grid. David Serra, Jordi Sveers. Keep an eye on those Sean Lacey drivers coming through. Alan Terzic, Jeffrey Rietveld on the podium. The first race of the season for him. The first race on his return to rFactor Sim Racing. Luca D'Amelio and Mikael Smedel, first victor of the season, down there in 10th place. After that, top 10 reverse grid. Donat Prodon for Volante up there in the Ferrari. Casper Stolzer, Mohamed Patel, Matthew Williams, Vlad Tokarev, and Yuri Toman. I have to say it again, I'm keeping my eye on P16 through this race because I think he is in for a great drive. Then we've got Turka Hakkinen, Mark Cruz, Roman Yakubovic, and Jesper Eriksson in 20th place. I think there'll be some movements up. Of course, there's a Porsche in there and a few Callaways. The Callaway Cup indeed, but there are still plenty of drivers, and I reckon we could definitely see a non-Callaway victory even in this race. Paulia Honan, Roy McDuff, Ilias Fernandez, and Paulo Gustlana in 24th place. The final 4 drivers on the grid: Louis-Philippe Capamajan, Andrea Terzi, Chris Shepherd, and Ibrahim Khan. So, you know I have to ask the question, it's always the standard. Who are you looking at for a race victory in race number 2?
Terzic.
See, I was going to go for
yeah.
I was going to go. I was either going to go for Terzic or I was going to go for Spears. We can't go for Matt Richards because Sancho Sims.
Yeah, we're not allowed.
Yeah,
we're not allowed to.
No, it's Sancho bias.
Yeah.
I will go for. I'll go for Yordi. I'll go for Yordi. I'll take Yordi. We're both picking non-Callaways here. It's a bit of a risk, but I'll go with Yordi.
Well, we've seen how quick they can be in that Ferrari, so
absolutely.
Why not?
Heard from Matt Richards, by the way. He's running this at about 30 frames per second at the moment. So not ideal for battling. But, you can get some racing out on that. You can get some, doing laps by yourself. If you've got no cars in front of you, you're not rendering those cars. So, well, you are sort of, but not really. Get out in front.
Turn the visible cars down. You'll be fine.
Get out in front. Yeah, turn it down to 0 and just get out in front. Easy peasy for Matt Richards. That's what you get for running on 670. He is far behind the curve. They've not been told to line up, but I'm sure Jimmy Allison will be shouting at them at some point. Oh, he can shout at them, can't he? Because he's got a split 1 whisper just specifically for split 1 rather than a general one. So we might be all right. We might be safe from hearing Jimmy Allison. See what happens. I get the feeling there are a lot of drivers that can win this race. It's not just 1 or 2. It's not just looking at how Mikkel Smeedel, how Jeffrey Rietveld and Terzic and Luca D'Amelio. It's not looking at how they're going to get up the order, because as much as they can be victorious. You can kind of see anyone really being victorious in this race. They're all so close. The 30-car grid, when it came to the pre-qualifier, was separated by just about 0.3 of a second.
And they were all in the same car for that as well.
Yeah. Well, they're all in the same car for this as well. Sorry.
Oh god.
I would have liked to see. This is why I like seeing the Ferraris and stuff. I would have liked to have seen more cars on this grid, and I get the feeling that maybe we might see them coming through from split 2 and even split 3 come the end of the season. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Race 2 of the season preparing to get underway. Once we've come through sunset, the final corner, then it is basically leaders command when they want to go. So that'll be handed to Nike Jacobs at the head of the field. We see race 1 winner on the right-hand side, Mikkel Smeedel, starting from 10th place. He's on the what will become the outside line for turn 1. Definitely not the favoured line, but it's kind of in the bit of the danger zone there. That's the problem. All the bumps, all the cars running wide from turn 1.
Well, he has the outside line for Sunset, but he has the inside line for turn 1.
No, he's got the inside line for Sunset, outside line for turn 1.
Oh, you're talking about Matt, are you?
I'm talking about Smeedel.
Oh, Smeedel, right. Ignore me.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good.
Let's keep an eye then. So Jacobs has free reign now as to when he wants to go. When's he going to pick it up? He's got the 2 Pinsim Drillers Esports cars directly behind as well. Turn 1 didn't go quite so well for them. It's underway and Jacobs leads clear. The 2 Pinsim Drillers cars are definitely side by side. Hopefully no contact between the 2 of them. Matt Richards in 2nd place should be able to cover off easily. Jordi Sveer's already up into 5th place on the inside of Vandanovsky as well. Could be up to 4th. I think that was Alan Terzic running wide, but right on board with Smeedel on the right-hand side of your screen, focused on the lead at the left. Jordi Sveer's up to 4th place. Great move on Andonovsky, moving his way right up the order. Great start from him, and Matt Richards is already applying pressure for the lead of the race on board with Smeedel. Alan Terzic running out wide, coming out of T5. On the inside, though, all the way around Big Bend on the outside, is David Serra of him. Mikkel Smeedel, I think he might be able to get a move done. Yeah, Mohamed Patel already out of this race. I'm sure we'll find out what happened to him. Serra's going to overcut the hairpin here, surely. Oh, just a little bit. And Alan Terzic holds firm.
Straddling the curb, coming out of the hairpin as they head up towards the back end of the track. A bit of a flash there from Smeedel. He's not happy about something. Maybe he thinks he's forced off a bit. Throwing it in, hit the apex. Or is that one of the Ferraris going a bit wide behind?
Oh, yeah, it was
D'Amelio
and Stolzer. Matthew Williams is going to come through in all of this as well, just in the background there. Whoa, who was that going off? I think that was Yuri Toman being forced. He's already up to 13th. He's on the inside of Casper Stolzer down at Tower. He's going to spin. Gone. He's going to spin. Oh, all of that progress up the order. He's pulling out. He's escaping. He's dropping from this race. Yuri Toman out of the race. That realistically, with all of, at least from what I saw at Tower, seemed to be all of his own volition. Throwing it down the inside of Casper Stolzer. Maybe Stolzer could have given a bit more room, but You know, you can't just randomly dive down into some corners. We'll have to grab a replay of that one and see what happened. Great progress up the order, by the way, from Matthew Williams for Stacks, up to 11th place, applying pressure to second place in the previous race. Luca D'Amelio. Let's have a look, though. Race lead. Jacobs leads leads the first race. Yeah, he does. Martin Hemmingson's on the inside. Not quite able to get through. The advantage is going to go the way of Matt Richards. Jordi Zviers, who's in 4th place, is closing in every time they start battling. Jordi is closing in and desperate for race victory here this afternoon.
Yeah, Richards managed to just slot back in just before turn 1, sort of trusting Hemmingson to not tap the rear quarter panel and send him into a wall as they come through to, well, I'm calling that turn 2, but it's actually turn 3 because of that little kink that they claim is a corner. As they come towards Big Ben now. Here's a replay. I think this is going to be of Mohammed Patel, the young man from Coventry. Does he get served up? Oh, okay.
Oh, that was Prodon having a little bit of a spin on one of his teammates, and Patel. Oh, and that rejoin wasn't very good. I'll give him that. That rejoin was less than ideal. And he has now bit the bullet from this race. Jeffrey Rietveld and Anlan Terzic are battling out for 6th place. Terzic to the outside as they head up towards Cunningham. He's got Jeffrey Rietveld on his inside in the Callaway. It's heavy on the brakes. There is contact between the two, but it's not too bad. He's got the inside, though, running it through. Oh, he's muscled his way through, though. And Alan Terzic, that, in my opinion, was a pretty fair move from Terzic. Jeffrey Rietveld just pushed him out as far as he possibly could. Terzic around the outside of Cunningham had it done before they got to tower up to 6th place for Terzic. John Lacey Esports Academy are having a great day here, at least with their 2 drivers, Jordi Zviers and Alan Terzic.
Yeah, Rietveld got as good as he gave in that one. So no love lost between those two as Terzic has managed to gain himself a position. Now he's going to have his sights set on Andonovski, who's 1.2 seconds ahead of him right now.
Yeah, and he'd love to close that in and assist his teammate Jordi Zviers in getting that victory. It could be a potential 1-2 here for Ferraris if they play their cards right, but at the moment it's looking pretty good for Callaways as Matt Richards he's going for it. He's going for it at Sunset, and Matt Richards hits the front here. First feature race of the season, and Matt Richards takes to the front of the field on the inside of Jacobs. It's a Zancho Simsport leading here at Sebring.
That wasn't even licking the stamp. That was just sending it and hoping he'd pay the postage once he received it. That was a brilliant move into Sunset.
Yeah, finished the season last season with a couple of podiums at Le Mans. It was a great drive for him. Oh, down the inside, Jordi Zviers. That was committed. Whoa, again, I don't really think he wanted to do that too much. Oh, there's contact between himself and Hemmingson, muscling his way through. Jordi Zviers up to the podium. I'm not sure how that one will be viewed. PinSim Drillers Esports drivers switch positions as Martin Hemmingson is losing out here. Terzic has got through. Andonovski has also got through, and Andonovski is now fancying his move on Jordi Zviers. Terzic up to 5th place. Andonovski nearly down the inside. It's going to take out. Oh, that was clumsy down the inside. Both of them survived somehow, and it's just costing them time.
I think buy some shares in the electronics company that programmed the ABS, because that is what caused that to not be an accident. If you can follow me, as Andonovski now embedded in the diffuser of Zviers, who is now into the podium positions.
Meadle's now getting up to 6th place, just getting by Martin Hemmingson side by side, same as Terzic did, all the way around the outside of Cunningham and up to 6th place. That's a great move from Mikael Smeedel. Nice work from him, up to 6th place. Race victory in race 1, up to 6th now, and eyeing up potentially the double. We're on board with Yuri Toman. This is what happened to him. So we've got the battling up ahead. That's Matt Williams. You've got Kasper Stolzer, I think that is, who's just gone off. He's then...
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but then this dive is what really sent him off.
Yeah.
He was fully there. He was fully there.
It's not the best corner to overtake at that one, is it?
No, but he was fully alongside. I think Kasper Stolzer might be in a little bit of trouble. He really should have given room in that scenario, because he was fully there. It's not a nice move, but a move's a move. And if you're like partially alongside, then it's dodgy. But he was all the way up, a full car width. Was kind of required in that scenario, so I'm not too sure about that one. We're right on board with the Scuderia Leone driver on the back of Matt Richards, missing the apex of T1 though. Not ideal.
Ibrahim Khan, that's the fastest lap of the race, 1:58.9. As D'Amelio's just dropped a place behind Rietveld here.
Oh,
so Cruz is
contact
going backwards
between
as well.
Rietveld and Sarah. There's contact between Rietveld and Sarah. Jeffrey Rietveld's now down to 11th position. We go side by side. Right-hand side of your screen is on board with Jeffrey Rietveld. After a great drive in race 1, it's not looking so great now. That's Turka Hakkinen getting through. Down to 13th place. It is carnage down the back end of the field. To 13th he goes. That is also another thing that's less than ideal. At least he didn't rejoin poorly. We'll grab a replay of that now. Let's have a look. This is David Serra on the inside. The contact happens down towards turn 4 and 5. That's sort of pretty tricky section. At this point, very heavy on the brakes. Drops out of it. Serra, is David Serra going to lose it? Oh, no, he's going to throw it down the inside. Oh, that's dodgy. Whoa.
Yeah, it's...
Whether he was fully there or not, well, I'll hold course on judgment for that because I get the feeling that someone's going to get very annoyed at me. That was a little bit questionable there, and it's cost Rietveld down to 13th place. David Serra is down to 19th. I think he's even behind his teammate Elias Fernandez. Yeah, yellow out in sector 2.
Oh, that was Terzic getting to the dirt there.
Cruz has retired from the race, so I think that's where the yellow flag was coming from.
Yeah, Cruz was one of the drivers that was sort of getting dumped down the field. As who's this going to try and get? Oh, hang on, Alan. That was a bit of a late cut back across onto the racing line, pal.
There was more than enough room behind because Smeedle was a good 2-3 car lengths before they even got into the braking zone. So he was just returning to the fastest, the racing line. That's more than acceptable to do so. As long as you don't move in a dangerous manner that would effectively cause someone to lift out to brake, it's sort of more than okay. And Terzic nearly clipped the wall there. I think he might have actually brushed the wall on the inside of T1 as ahead of this, Jordis Viers is applying pressure to second place. Man Knight Jacobs, Mikael Smeedle's not able to get through on Alan Terzic, who's wrestling this around as if it's an Indy car.
Yeah, he's still running on last night's... Oh, hang on.
Oh, Terzic.
Smeedle's flashing quite manically.
As if he's trying to... Jordis Viers round the outside. Oh, not quite yet. For battle for second place, didn't quite do it. Smeedle not able to do it on Alan Terzic either. He is flashing. I wonder if they're like trying to distract Alan Terzic, or if it's because he feels aggrieved by something that Alan Terzic is doing. Here we go to the outside of Cunningham. Oh, it's going to be beautiful again from Jordis Viers. Nice work. Second place to him. Nick Jacobs down to third. That's a great overtake once again from Jordis Viers. He's loving that move.
It's definitely where the space is.
I'd be if I was Nick Dealey or anyone like that inside Sanchez Simsport now, I'd be on the blower to Matt Richards, being like, watch out for the outside of Cunningham because he loves it and he's coming quickly.
Yeah, Nick Dealey doing all the setup stuff for Sancho, the setup guru that he is. Laced with weapons grade sarcasm as well. It's great.
Oh, here comes Antonovsky on the inside, trying to get a podium. Oh, he's nearly coming back across there on Jacobs. I think the Scuderia Leone driver is going to just back out of it here. Not really going to fight it too hard into the corner. And Antonovsky for Pinsim Drillers Esports gets onto the podium. A good drive from him so far. Still plenty of time left on the clock. We're not even sprint race distance down. We've got over half an hour left here. Jacobs is not having any of it, though. He's to the outside of turn 1. Doesn't fancy trying to make it stick all the way around the outside. He might try and swing it back to the inside, but he's going to run wide at 1 here. He could have kind of got on the brakes a little bit more and tried firing one down the inside at 3. Alan Terzic is now very much a part of this battle, sat right on the back of Jacobs, and he's dragging Smeedle, Hemmingson as well with him. Luca D'Amelio, who's currently in 8th place, is quite a way off the back of that order. And the yellow flag's out in sector 1 again. Oh, that's Ibrahim Khan. Ibrahim Khan and Chris Shepherd both out of the race, I believe.
Oh, hello, Alan. Bye, Alan.
Oh, bye, Alan.
Bye, Alan.
Bye, Alan. Oh, there was contact there as well. There's a Pinsim Drillers guy as well round. Oh, that's not great. That was Martin Hemmingson footing the bill, courtesy of that. And Alan Terzic, who's now down in 7th place, dropping it to Luca D'Amelio. We'll definitely need a replay of that one to see what happened there into the hairpin. But further carnage. And Jesper Eriksson, great drive up the order, up to 9th place, dragging Rory McDuff with him.
Yeah, McDuff into 10th, but Hakkinen up into 12th, which is probably the best result he's had in GT Challenge, considering he was running in the Bentley last season, which was, let's be honest, a bit of a meme. By far the worst car available, as this is Alan Terzic trying to send it on the outside. And he's just
he's way too
far too deep. Come back round, lit up the tyres, and bang.
Alan. That's, well, I mean, you can't really blame anyone else in that scenario. Alan just overdid it on the brakes and then overdid it on the throttle, trying to get it back round. Of course, there's not very much grip there on the outside. But, yeah, that's not worked out. And Kasper Stolzer, his teammate, is now on the back of him, looking for a move. It depends on how hard Alan's going to fight this one, because Kasper Stolzer could make some decent progress up the order, and I'm assuming from that contact that Alan Terzic is going to have some damage as well. Mikael Smedel was looking on the inside of T1 in the foreground, wasn't able to do it on Jacobs, but our focus remains with the John Lacey Esports drivers, who have 3 cars inside the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just going on board with Terzic just to see if his steering's pointing in the wrong direction. But it looks to be okay, but he's really wrestling with the car.
P15, Jesper Eriksson's been off, dropped down the order after a great drive down to 17th now. A spin at T1, I think there's going to be damage to that car. Well, you can't keep up with it.
We can't keep up with it. Imagine what Ruben's trying to do. He's probably getting the slow-mos ready.
He's going to need to buy another computer at this point so he can stack up some more slow-mos, because it's getting a bit manic here. He's going to be a busy boy. Ruben Carrera-Alves on cameras today. Oh, as Mikael Smedel did get down the inside of Jacobs and has got up to 4th place. A fair move from him. He is setting his sights on that double victory, and with half an hour to go in 4th place, you cannot rule it out. There is so much time left on this grid. And this is what we mean with how it is in GT Challenge, is you can't really rule anyone out, because even let's look at how fast some people have come up the order. You just can't rule anyone out, because there's still half an hour to go. We're approaching 1/3 done of this race, and the order is completely different to how it was at the start.
And Sviz is within 3/4 of a second of Matt Richards, so expect a battle for the lead in the next 2 or 3 laps.
How hard is Matt Richards going to fight that one? No, Matt Richards probably quite hard. I think he's yet to take a victory in at least in Split 1. He's had a few podiums. I think it's three podiums that he's had. Maybe it might have only been 2 at the end of last season. Very, very quick is Matt Richards, but I don't think he's taken a victory in GT Challenge. Neither has Yuri Zviz or Antonovsky, the only person in that top lot. That is a fantastic angle. There we go. That's spicy. Imagine that now in slow-mo. You can see how bumpy it is. Look on the inside.
Yeah.
You can see that yellow line just going all over the place. It is incredibly bumpy down at T1, and that's why we see so many mistakes from drivers around here. This is a circuit that really, really bites, as are plenty of the other tracks that we head to this season. It is a tough calendar. It may only be 6 rounds, but it is a tough calendar for the drivers out there today.
Yeah, we're going to Portland next, which is quite a fast-flowing track. Very long pit straight, huge braking zone towards the end.
Tiny lap.
A tiny lap.
And then after that we go to VIR, we go to Nürburgring, a track which everyone knows. Go to Indianapolis as well, penultimate round of the season. It is a tricky calendar. End. Yeah, TBA, I love that track. There we go, there's the slow. Matt Richards coming through. Nice. The down.
Oh, bit of oversteer as well. F12.
Yeah, that is a very much an F12 moment. F12, for those of you who don't know, is screenshot.
It's not F times 12.
No, good lord. Oh, but I mean, I wonder if that, we could code that to work. If you press F12 times and it'll take a screenshot. It's quite a bit awkward, though. Your fingers would get a bit knackered.
F.
I believe Sam Cobb is doing the photographs today. He's a bit of a photographer himself. Worked with him a few times in the server. Has done photographs for a few things on rFactor 2 and elsewhere in sim racing. So it's nice to have him on board for the season as well. Of course, behind VCO, who are powering the series. Oh, that's wide for Jesper Eriksson. Vlad Tokarev going to move to 16th place in the Aston Martin. Pretty easily done for him, to be honest.
Yeah, and another position lost as well.
Certainly was. Who was that he fired through? Louis Philippe Capamajan to 17th, and so Jesper Eriksson down to 18th. No threat of another driver coming through, because there's a long way back to Ibrahim Khan. It's about 18 seconds further back where the next car is. Jeffrey Rietveld has now retired from the race, by the way, so yet another retirement to add to the list. Chris Shepherd, Mark Cruz, Yuri Toman and Mohamed Patel all retired from the race. Kappa Majan doing the double, one in Sunset, one in T1, not quite on the inside of the Aston Martin. Was very much there with the pressure.
Smeedle still holding strong in 4th, keeping Nick Jacobs behind. And on the other side of your screen, you see Vlad Tokarev coming through Big Bend towards the hairpin.
Yeah, Luca D'Amelio, who's currently in 6th place, closing in on Jacobs, will probably be the next one to depose him in position if he possibly can get there. And there's Vlad Tokarev, still defending, still holding on. There is another car in there as well, but that one is Paul-Auguste Lana, the one that's just come through your foreground there, that's in the background of this shot. That is a lap down, unfortunately. Louis-Philippe Capamajan to the inside at Cunningham. Pretty aggressive, very much a touring car move, and I think that might open the door as well for Jesper Eriksson to get back through, but Vlad Tokarev covers off the inside and isn't able to get through into 17th place. Jesper Eriksson, AAA Esports, not having a good run here. The Sebring International Raceway. Elias Fernandez, we see, trying to pressure his way past Matthew Williams, Roman Yakubovic. A Porsche inside the top 10, yellow flags out in sector 1. Not sure who that's going to be for. I think it's Donat Prodon, who's not had a great race after a contact on the first lap of the race. He was one of the Ferraris that went off with Mohamed Patel, so he's going to be yet another retirement he's pulled off. And has escaped from the race to the inside, Elias Fernandez, not quite on Matthew Williams. The most colourful car on the grid. It's definitely an interesting livery. Oh, Jesper Eriksson. That's going to be the move done. 17th place for Jesper Eriksson, AAA Esports. The advantage to the outside is not quite going to work. Nearly squeezed into the barrier. Oh, but it is going to work for Unison Racing's Vlad Tokarev. Yeah, that Aston Martin's not lacking in acceleration, is it?
Just as we were getting concerned that Matt Richards is having his lead eaten into, he's pulled it back out to 1.3 seconds. So tyres dropping off on that Ferrari, maybe.
Well, this is the thing with I think it's closed back in through sector 1, but they're all pressing. Oh, that's clumsy. That's a 0 out of 10 when it comes to non-clumsiness. It was a 10 out of 10 for clumsiness. That's what I kind of want to say. Okay, moving on. No further questions. We've got this is Vlad Tokarev. That's a lapped car that is passing. So they're still going to race into the corner though, because why not? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try and push it to the very, very limit? That's Paul-Auguste Lana coming through. Didn't switch. Let's have a replay and see what happened. This is on board with Jeffrey Rietveld. This is how he retired from the race. Is that Louis-Philippe Capamajan behind? It certainly was. For spun of his own, just lost it.
Bang!
And then
lost the ring.
He kept that throttle pinned.
Power out always.
Yes. No, I always power out when I'm 90 degrees to the road. Oh dear. Right, we're on board with Smeedle. Oh, we're on board with Jacobs, rather. Smeedle's through, and Jacobs has not dropped off the back of Smeedle. That is one thing to say. Once he's getting into the latter part of this race, his tyres are looking pretty good for Scuderia. This is the thing, is that a lot of these drivers, the likes of Richards, the likes of Spears, have done GT racing at this level, or in this kind of vein, in endurance racing. So they kind of understand fuel saving, they understand tyre saving, they understand looking after your car, looking after your position, understanding when a gap's coming down and needs to be defended. I think you're absolutely right, by the way, when it comes down to Jordi overdoing his car, because that gap's going out again, and he is becoming pressured quite heavily, as you can see on the right hand side of your screen, by Andonovski, who's got that gap down to within half a second.
We see this from a lot of drivers in other series, and you end up knowing that they're going to burn through their tyres pretty quickly. So you always start the broadcast with how long can he hang on, because you can be the best hot lapper in the world, but if you've got to do more than 6 laps and you don't know how to handle tyres that have started to go off, you're going to be a sitting duck by the end of the race.
Certainly are. Jesper Eriksson battling out hard back to the leader, Matt Richards, leading by just under a second. Jordi Zveers, Andonovski, Smeedle, Jacobs, your top 5, followed by D'Amelio, Stolzer, Terzic, McDuff, and Yakubovic, who's in 10th. He's become under pressure, by the way, from Matthew Williams in 10th place. The lone Porsche inside the top 10 at the moment. Oh, Matthew Williams is going to overdo Cunningham. This is it's becoming a fight, and Ilias Fernandez and David Serra, the two DX Droids drivers, are also battling out for 12th and 13th position. So battles coming thick and fast in GT Challenge. Jakubovic is the one that's now on the main screen for Blackhawk Racing ahead of Stax. Jakubovic moving from VRC1 to Blackhawk Racing and seems to be pretty comfortable within that outfit. But now with Stax Racing's Matthew Williams, who's jumped about from a few teams over a couple of years period, but sort of found his home. At least so far it seems in Stax Racing's. Used to drive with Chris Butcher in David Fidek's team. A long time ago.
A man we know well.
A couple of years. Yeah, a man we've battled against quite a few times. It's looking good, though, for Williams to be in the inside. Picks the outside, though. Maybe we'll swing it back to the inside. He's going to try and go all the way around. We know if they can make it. Oh, he's overdone it. Oh, and that's pretty hard. Wow, that rear wing.
No, he's done.
Stax build it strong. They'll keep going. He's a
there we go.
driver.
There we go. Matt Richards' lead, though, has come right down again. Half a second between him and Zviers. That's we're getting a Richards train beginning to fall here. But I was just looking at that graphic that's currently up on the screen. McDuff, 13 places gained. He's up into 9th and doing very, very well at the minute.
I don't think he's had to overtake many people here. He's just sort of let everyone
avoided the carnage.
Let everyone fall off. It'll be a pretty boring race from this point, but it'll be a secured race because he's got 5 seconds to Alan Terzic behind. He's got to Alan Terzic ahead rather. He's got 5 or 6 seconds to Roman Jakubovic behind. So he's in a 10-second bubble all by himself. Unless he drops it, 9th place is his at least. And tyres, we don't think will be an issue for him because endurance racing in that lark. So yeah. I'm sure 9th place will be fine for him. It's been a pretty carnage-filled first round here in GT Challenge, though, in the second round of the second season, rather, first round of it for GT Challenge. I think some people are going to get their knuckles wrapped after this, as it were. I think Jimmy Allison might come down a bit hard on some of the drivers inside the series.
And if you want
some good racing, but
and if you want to learn more, Studio 397 forum, there'll be a thread. All the penalties will be posted in there if you want to see what happened to certain drivers. But we can, if there are penalties applied for the next round, we will read them out before the race starts.
And try hard not to laugh as well. There will be a few penalties, I'm sure, but of course, you want to keep up to date with anything rFactor 2 related. Go and follow rFactor 2 on Facebook or any social media you wish, Instagram, etc., Twitter. I mean, I don't use Twitter. That's the issue. I always forget it. I'm not.
It's not a very nice place.
I just don't use social media. Schmiedel, though, who's eyeing up his second race victory in as many races on the back of Andonovski. You kind of feel that he can at least get a podium from this scenario. Whether the race win's going to be there. We've got the battle of DX Droids here on the right-hand side of your screen. Ilias Fernandez, he's defending a little bit from Turka Hackman. Oh, no, it's not. Turka Hackman's dropped right off. There's no pace in that Galloway. So it is just a battle between the DX Droids for 11th place. What's rule number 1 of motorsport? Don't need your teammate.
Looking at you, Seb.
Looking at quite a lot of drivers, to be honest.
David Coulthard.
There's a lot of people, not just in motorsport but in sim racing as well. Rule number 2 as well is if you get a penalty, don't get a penalty while serving the penalty. There's a yellow flag out in sector 2. Not sure who that is for. It's been cleared up though.
Rule number 3: if you no longer go for gap that exists.
Well,
that's not a rule. That's not a rule. That was an excuse.
Yeah, that was an excuse. Let's not start the controversial political statements this early in the season when it comes to that kind of stuff. Not yet. Anyway, we've got plenty of time. The number 1 car of Mikael Schmiedel. Top of the qualifiers coming into this. They had to do that pre-qualifier to get into the series. A lot of big-name drivers up there. Schmiedel was one of them. Gogo Bowdy for Mirror Esports. That's Norbert Michelis's squad. Of course, WTCR champion. Didn't decide to take part in the season, which I think we're missing out there because Gogo Bowdy's a very, very good driver. A worthy champion himself elsewhere in sim racing. And I feel that he could have definitely brought something to the table in this series. You see there the long run. There's only a few cars in shot there. The grid is definitely spreading out almost everywhere. except here, where we've got a second separating the top 4, Aiden.
Very, very close stuff, as Rich is now going to have to start looking in his mirrors, as we could have a 4-way fight for the lead within in the next 17 minutes.
Yeah, definitely not long to go. It'll be a handful of laps before we reach the checkered flag. Should be about 9 laps before we get there. And it's going to be 9 long laps for Matt Richards. Has led since lap 3 all the way up to 14. So, 11 laps, heading the field here in GT Challenge, looking for his, I believe, his first victory in the series. Yet another podium, though. Yet another win for Zancho Simsport. They've had a few before. I believe Luca D'Amelio won one. Mike Epps has won one. Sidivai, who's now is in GT Pro, promoted up there, is up there as well with race victories for the team. They're a team that know how to win a race in the series. Whether they can put this one together. This is on board with Martin Hemmingson as to why he has he retired from the race? He has indeed. Let's have a look. Oh, he's
lost it on the bump.
Out. Oh, this is earlier in the race. That's how. That's how he got to the race lead. That was the move on the end of lap 3. Martin Hemmingson is now out of the race, though. So I was prepared to see. Well, I was like looking at it, being like, I'm pretty sure Matt Richards passed Jacobs a long time ago. Speaking of passing, nearly to the inside there of Andonovski. Mikael Smedley has got there. He's alongside the momentum to go the way of Andonovski, though. Is it going to stick all the way to T1? Mikael Smedley. Oh, he's not quite there enough. He's going to have to sort of back out of this, stay in 4th place, at least for now, eyeing up a potential dive. Not quite yet. Andonovski's under a lot of pressure. 0.8 of a second when they crossed the line on the 15th lap of proceedings, separated the top 4 of this race.
Yeah, Zvia's had a bit of a slide coming out of Sunset again. That's allowed Richards to pull away again a little bit, as we now have a replay of Hemmingson. That car is
very broken.
That's yeah.
You do be pretty toasty. This will be why we got a yellow flag out in sector 2. It's just going to be a spin out of Cunningham. No, not quite. Oh, we're riding on board with it. Oh, there we go. Took too much curb.
Taxed worse.
Oh, that's. I feel bad for him. That's kind of embarrassing to have on stream. He just overdid it with a damaged car. It's very, very easy to do. Obviously, from that angle, it doesn't. You kind of look at me like, oh well, it shouldn't be that hard. It's a very hard car to drive. Oh, look at that, Smedel. Tried filling the gap that Andonovski left open, backed it out. Andonovski nearly ran wide himself. Nick Jacobs very much a part of this. Luca D'Amelio closing in to be a part of this. We may have a 6-car train for race victory here. What could have happened though if Alan Terzic hadn't had his issues? He would have been a part of this train as well, you'd have to assume. Still not necessarily out of it. I'd say his car's maybe a little bit too damaged. Kasper Stoltz is closing. If they battle hard enough, he's not that far off of the race lead. I think he's safe from Rory McDuff behind, but you never quite know. Now we're in the final third of the race. It all comes down to tyres. Who's got enough left? Of course, Smedel, he's had to come his way through the order, so he's had to use effectively a bit more tyres. Matt Richards has been left to do his own thing effectively. Yes, there's been pressure from behind, but it's never really been enough that he's had to defend. He's had to move offline. He's had to use more tyres. He's just been able to do his own thing, keep on the racing line, look after the 4 contact patches to the road, and maybe he's in a good position tyre-wise. We know he's quite good on tyres when he wants to be. He can be pretty terrible on tyres, though, as I found out in touring car racing with him over the years. But still, I don't know what I'd be doing in his position, Aidan.
I'd have binned it by now.
Oh, you've won a race against pros. Don't give yourself more credit.
Oh, the Dirty Air won that race, not me.
Wasn't it a 3.5?
Yeah.
There we go. So this is what happened to Hemmingson a little bit earlier in the race. That's Turka Hakkinen to the inside. There's contact. This will be what gave him a fair amount of damage on board with Jeffrey Rietveldt. Oh, he's overdone it into Le Mans. Easily done. Easily done. And Jeffrey Rietveldt also paying the price. Just literally spun around. So that's why that's where he's received a fair amount of damage. And that's why his car was effectively broken when it came to the spin, nearly retiring from the race. Coming through the corner there, just coming through now. Another replay. Let's see what. Oh, that wasn't a replay. It's okay.
No, I think we've only got the one graphic.
Yeah.
Budget.
Yeah, okay.
They've had to cut the budget to pay us.
I see. I am incredibly expensive. It's £100 an insult for me. As Captain Machan overdoes Cunningham, and that's him through on Ilias Fernandez, splitting the DX Droids cars, and now going to try and get by David Serra. I think he can get himself inside the top 10. You saw Jukovic ahead, who had run wide at Tower Corner. So there's potential for Captain Machan to get up towards the top 10. Same as with Turka Hakkinen, who we ride on board with on the right-hand side of your screen on the back of Ilias Fernandez. These two battle it out. I think they are in the same class in the Virtual Endurance Championship in GTE. So they will be battling out with each other in that series. But here, it's you do your own and see what you can get. And currently battling 13th and 14th position. They'll be battling hard when it comes to the checkered flag. Andonovski still holding on to the podium place. We've not seen so many overtakes in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes of the race. It's been a bit calmer. It's been a bit more collected. I think it's been a bit hard to pass.
Yeah, Richards has bumped that lead back up to 0.8 of a second. So unless he's sort of easing off, going for it, easing off, going for it. But at the same time, Zviers is going to be under a lot of pressure from Andonovski, Smeedle and Jakobs soon. So that's going to allow Richards to pull away a bit more if they start battling.
Smeedle was potentially eyeing up a move there on Andonovski, who was defensive, always losing the rear there into the hairpin. Those rear tyres, the thing is with the thermal degradation, the more you kind of slide them through the corner, the hotter they get, the less grip they have. The more you slide them through the corner, the hotter they get, the less grip you have. It is a vicious circle, and Andonovski doesn't care one bit about that. He's to the inside of Zviers. There's contact between the two. That's pushed Zviers wide. It's opened the door for Smeedle to get through. Oh,
there he
not
is.
Quite yet. Not quite yet. He might be on the inside of Tower. I think Jordi's going to hold that one on the inside. Andonovski back up to second place for Pinsim Drillers Esports. Just catching Jordi Zviers off guard there, and it's given Matt Richards a 1.5 second lead, nearly 2 seconds at the head of the field.
I bet he's loving this.
Just 10 minutes to go.
He's just Gora keep it on track.
He does, Gora.
We love you really, Matt.
If I can be honest, he is in a good position to do so. I think Andonovski is going to kind of struggle to close that gap in the final 10 minutes of the race. This is on board with Andonovski. Just threw it down to the inside. That's kind of what he did earlier, only this time he was a bit more committed to that. So that was his intent. Although, when he's actually doing it with his intent, I think it's just kind of pushed it a little bit too far. I think Jordi Zviers might be a little bit aggrieved by that, but he's wasting no time on coming back through. He's got the outside of the first corner of the road. He's going to commit heavily on the brakes in that Ferrari. Andonovski to the inside. It's not quite going to work for Zviers. And I think Mikkel Smeedle has got his opportunity now to move himself onto the podium. There's contact between himself and Zviers. Contact again as they run through T2. Oh, that's not necessary? Very nice. That was absolutely not necessary from Mikkel Smeedle coming back across. And now Jordi Zviers going heavily defensive to keep now Jakobs behind. That was a very messy and not very good display, if I'm honest.
Well, Luca D'Amelio is going to be saying hello to this as well. Look how close he's getting to the back.
He's waiting for them to crash. Got an onboard from Jakobs there. It's going to be very interesting. By the way, Luis-Felipe Capamachan's got by David Serra up to 11th place. So he's on his march back inside to get back inside the top 10. And remember, the more these lot battle, Kasper Stolzer, by the way, is nearly a part of this train as well. You see his Ferrari going through there. He's nearly in the battle to get himself a podium as well. Oh, holding the inside. I think Zviers' tyres might have maybe gone here a bit, or he's just not quite able to kind of hit his racing line. When you're constantly under pressure, regardless of where your tyres are, you kind of, every time you just, I've got to defend here, I've got to defend there. He's just like, oh, can you just give me like 2 seconds, just get on with it, and then like let me hit an apex, yeah? Sarah there, that's the position change that I was speaking of. Luis-Felipe Capamachan to 11th place. David Serra, Ilias Fernandez behind under pressure from Turka Hakkinen as well. And 2.2 seconds clear at the head of the field. This is on board with Knight Jakobs on the replay. Let's have a look at what happened. So, Jordi Zviers was wide. There was contact there, and then this one's unnecessary from Smeedle, in my opinion. Opened the door, lit up the rear. Oh, just kind of wasn't really there enough to demand track position from Jordi, but maybe was cutting across a bit. That might be considered blocking, but I don't know. I think it's all right. And here is the battle for second place. Mikael Smeedel
Look how much
and
they've dropped him.
Danovsky. Yeah, absolutely. This is why I don't think that's necessarily tyres. I think that's because they were battling so hard and because he was having to constantly defend. Oh, I've got to defend this. Because he's not actually dropped off from the second and third sector. It was just the first sector where he dropped to second to Mikael Smeedel. I think his tyres are okay. It's just where he's defending from Jakobs and trying to hold firm with Smeedel and that. I think that's what's cost him the time in this scenario. I wouldn't rule him out for getting on the podium. There's your pluses and minuses. Kapamajan outdoing Rory McDuff, plus 14 at the moment. This man, though, is trying to go plus 8 to the inside. He's not really there, but he's forcing the gap open, and Smeedel's not quite onto the podium. Antonovsky's holding firm around the outside of the hairpin.
There's going to be a horrendous crash here.
You do get the feeling that is going to be the case. Antonovsky's going to try and cover it off to the inside. Oh, yeah, you're not there. Smeedel, you weren't alongside. Oh, and Antonovsky was giving him the pinch,
he just pulled it up.
Oh, this is very aggressive. Someone is absolutely going to crash. The one person, big snap from Smeedel. The one person benefiting more than anyone else is Matt Richards running away. Look at how far he is down
3
the road.
seconds.
2.5, 3 seconds clear of the field here in the first feature race of the season. Flashes from Smeedel. I think you'd be flashing yourself though, mate, because I don't think you've been particularly clean in the environment either.
It is so narrow over the back end of that track. I mean, we raced in a... was it the Corvette C1 that one night?
Oh my god, that was a long time ago.
That was madness personified as to how narrow that sort of Cunningham Tower section is.
What's hard is that the track kind of like it's the lines on the end of the circuit aren't straight. There he is diving down the inside, but I think Antonovsky around the outside should have the momentum to hold second place. Smeedel's getting frustrated here. The lines there, they don't hold straight. They kind of wibble and wobble, and grass comes in and grass leaves as there's escape roads and stuff. Being an old airfield, there's basically your apron and stuff that's just all over the place. Your taxiways and stuff. It is still an active airfield, but this part's not so much.
No.
There is.
At least I hope it's not when there's a race on.
You never know. Land Airbus A380 on the run down towards Sunset. That'll be fine.
New meaning to the word dirty air is the exhaust of a 787 coming in.
Yeah, that'd definitely slow you down a little bit. You'd assume. You never know. Might give you a bit of a boost there if you're trying to accelerate. If you're accelerating off the corner, it'd be great. Jordi Zveers, though, trying to get himself back onto the podium. Smeedel and Antonovsky's hard racing here for second place has gifted Matt Richards a potential victory, as long as there's no mistakes on his part. Should be good enough, at least for him. And he's a well-experienced sim racer. He's been doing it for pushing a decade. Has Matt Richards and Antonovsky. Smeedel is looking ropey here, if I'm honest. Jesper Eriksson on the back of Andrea Terzi, who's not really had a particularly great race. Terzi's actually got through, I think, in that final sector at Sunset. Oh, see you, Jesper Eriksson. That's the curse of cameraman. Smeedel to the inside. Oh, he might be there. He might be there enough. And I think he's not quite. My goodness me, what a drive from Antonovsky, holding on here at the moment. Desperate to hang on. 3 seconds clear now, and Jordi's a part of it.
Yeah, the battle is now for second, third, fourth as we enter sort of 3 3/4 minutes here. So
Jordi's committed at the outside. Jordi was trying to throw it around the outside. That's not... we've seen it not really work. Smeedel's got a good drive, though. Still not going to be there enough. Just a couple of laps to go here at Sebring. Here comes Jordi. Oh, here comes Smeedel. Oh, contact. Oh, Jordi's going to have to pay the price of that, and Jakobs is going to come back through. There's contact, and who's that? It's Luca Di Melio, going to get to 4th place on the inside of Jakobs. There's
or is he?
Just a brush there. No, that's all right. That's all right. They're just pushing each other a little bit into T5. Luca Di Melio snags 4th place from Jakobs from Zviers, who were battling it out. And Kasper Stolzer is also a part of this.
That's just an update. Cameron Roger is actually winning split 6 right now.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholls is in that split as well, as is Scott Mitchell.
Is Jack commentating?
Maybe whilst he's driving. I'd hope he's not streaming, though, because I don't think it will be user-friendly.
Is any stream user-friendly?
Mine certainly aren't. I've paid the price for it. Sorry, we're good boys when we're on. I say that actually, but I don't think we are good boys when we're on a proper stream. So yeah, never know.
We're doing something right.
I don't think we are.
I
don't think we are. This is on board with Luca D'Amelio. This is how he got through. Just watch the door open. It's just overcooking the corner with Smeedle, and Jordi Veers was just sort of placed wrongly. And Luca D'Amelio says, "Yep, Tar, thank you very much. I will go up to 4th place." Although Jakobs did a good job to try and hold it around the outside. Just a little bit of space given, maybe what would be the minimum of the legal requirements. And 4th place goes the way of the Zancho Simsport driver. So 2 drivers inside the top 4. A good day for Zancho Simsport at the moment. If Jakobs can get himself past again. His pace, to be fair, as much as he was dropping back, as Smeedle's to the inside of Andonovski this time, and he has made it stick. Andonovski has dropped behind now. It is 2nd place to Mikael Smeedle. Andonovski not able to hold that one around the outside. It was absolutely sent. Final lap of the race, and Smeedle to 2nd place finally, way too far off the back of Matt Richards to do anything. Andonovski's trying to hang it around the outside. Oh, could you imagine if you're Smeedle right now? Oh, he's overdone it though, and paying the price is Andonovski. Luca D'Amelio sensing a podium here. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough into T3. He certainly isn't. Andonovski hangs on. Oh, I think there might be stern words there between this racing pack after the race is done from Jimmy Allison.
It's going to be like one of those assemblies that we had in school when like the toilets have been trashed or something like that. Everybody's been quite very badly behaved.
That didn't happen in my school because I'm from the south and everyone's very, very well behaved down here. Jakobs holding on from Jordi Veers, trying to get himself back inside the top 5. Where it was looking so strong for John Lacey Esports Academy, it's not looking so strong now. They've still got 6th, 7th and 8th on the grid in Ferraris, which is, I'd still say, it's pretty decent, all things considered, and he's still trying to get that top 5 and be the lone one inside it. Luca D'Amelio still trying to get himself a podium position. He's just not quite close enough to do so. On the back of Andonovski, there might be a little bit of a dive here into Tower Corner. We know Luca D'Amelio can be a pretty aggressive driver. He's not further enough alongside on Andonovski. There's only... Oh, Andonovski's run wide! Andonovski's run wide!
Oh,
contact
no!
of Luca D'Amelio's cost it for him! Oh, that's such terrible luck for Luca D'Amelio. Jordi Veers onto the podium. Kasper Stoltz to the 4th. Knight Jakobs to 5th. Alan Terzic to 6th. Luca D'Amelio dropped to 8th place with heavy damage, heavy crabbing, and he's going to be dropping behind the likes of Rory McDuff. Yeah, he absolutely is. That is a terrible shame. We must focus on the head of the field. The timer has ticked down to 0. A first race victory in GT Challenge Season 2 is awaiting this man, the Welshman, Zancho Simsports driver in this race, leading the field. It is a well-deserved victory. He has held his own at the front of the field, and Matt Richards becomes the 2nd victor of Season 2. Well done to him. Victory for Zancho Simsport. Smeedle up the order to 2nd place. Jordi Veers and Kasper Stoltz to 3rd and 4th. Alan Terzic, I was saying this with John Lacey Esports, they were 6th, 7th and 8th. They're 3rd, 4th and 5th. 3 cars inside the top 10. Knight Jakobs to 6th. Timotej Andonovski in 7th place. Roy McDuff does grab 8th place. Luca D'Amelio hangs on to 9th. That is such terrible luck for him. Louis-Philippe Capamachan does get himself inside the top 10. Jukovic in 11th place. David Serra, Turka Hakkinen, and a tight race across the line there with those two. Serra holding firm in that one. Turka Hakkinen, Ilias Fernandez in 14th. Paulia Honan in 15th place. Matthew Williams only 16th. Could have been a bit more from that. It was a good drive until that spin at Sunset just maybe pushed it a little bit too far. Vlad Togarev, Ibrahim Khan, Andrea Terzi and Jesper Eriksson will finish in the top 10. There's that incident. You feel for them. You feel for them. That's terrible luck for Luca D'Amelio. You kind of saw it coming, and at that point, you're just looking at him, and that is why you kind of have that failure to lock brakes thing, because at that point, if he was to hold his brakes, if he was to lock his brakes, he'd go off in a consistent trajectory. That's why that kind of thing is around. I know some people are very like, oh, well, it shouldn't exist because of this, that, and the other, and sometimes it makes this, that, and whatever.
Yeah.
For Luca D'Amelio, he was kind of looking at it going, which way are you going? Are you going left? Are you going straight? Are you going to like come back onto the racing line? And he just unfortunately got it wrong. But for this man, I'm pretty sure Ed Trevelyan and Johnson will be pretty happy with the efforts that this man's put in, moving his way up the order into a reverse grid position in race 1, and gets himself. This is on board with Jordi Veers. This is how he gained from everything. Look at this. You see the slide ahead. Oh, he nearly got it right, did Luca? He nearly got it right.
The exact same thing happened to me at Knockhill a few weeks ago. The car just spun directly into my path as I picked the line to... It was 50-50. It was go right. or go left. I went left and didn't get there before the car sort of entered my path.
It's a terrible shame there for D'Amelio, and even for Antonovsky losing it after a great drive until that point. I didn't think Matt Richards did any donuts there, which is a little bit disappointing.
He's not allowed to.
He's not allowed to?
No.
Oh, I would have ignored that rule. Did it anyway. I wouldn't have. I value the win too much. God, you're taking away the showy stuff. Come on, you've got.
He's doing a burnout in the pit lane with the pit limiter on. So
if you win a race, come on, it should be like that's the thing. You've got to be able to do it. But I hate it in F1 where they're like, oh no, you've got to bring the car back and look after it. It's like you just won a race, mate.
Did you see the back end of Scott McLaughlin's car after Bathurst? Which
exactly.
Totally ruined the...
Exactly. Every NASCAR, like, come on, you've got to showboat a little bit. It's all part of the fun. Matt Richards, though, winning the race. The podium, Smeedle again. Yuri Zviers did get onto the podium. Kasper Stolzer and Alan Terzic. Jakobs, Antonovsky, McDuff, D'Amelio, and Kapmajan, your top 10. Outside of that, as said, Jakobovic in the Porsche. That's actually quite a good drive for him to get up there in the lone Porsche today. And then David Serra, Turka Hacken, Elias Fernandez, Paulie Honan, your top 15. As I said, Matthew Williams could have made a little bit more from that race, but I still think, 16th is okay. He could have been inside the top 10, though. Vlad Tokarev, Ibrahim Khan, Andrea Terzi, and Jesper Eriksson. Plenty of drivers we'll see battling towards the front as the season progresses. Bruno Lana, our final finisher in 21st place, 3 laps down. Then the retirements from the race, Martin Hemmingson, Donat Prodon, Jeffrey Rietveld, Chris Shepherd, Mark Cruz, Yuri Toman, and Mohamed Patel. There is plenty of drivers on that, though, don't you think, that we're going to see in the future maybe taking some race victories this season? The likes of Yuri Toman, the likes of Jeffrey Rietveld, even Mohamed Patel. I think we're going to see these drivers towards the front, Aiden.
Yeah, and also those 3 Ferraris of the John Lacey Esports team doing very, very well in that second race. Just, I think Jordi got lucky with the spin, but the pace is still there. He's just got to make sure he can hold on to it for a whole race distance.
Further GT action then coming through the season. GT Challenge heads to Portland next on the 2nd of November. But of course, those of you trying to focus on what's happening with GT Pro, it's back on the 26th of October for its second round at Portland as well. So basically every round that we have, take a week off and you've got GT Pro. We head to VIR, Nürburgring, Indianapolis, and the track, which we'll find out what it is later in the season to round out 2020. An interesting way, let's say, to start the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO with help from the race and Fanatec. It's been a pretty crazy first round. We'll see what happens when we head to Portland. Thank you very much for joining us through this broadcast. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, goodbye.